Every second, 3 more Indians come online for the first time. That's over 10,000 people every hour. With smartphones outpacing desktop devices, India has quickly become a mobile-first nation. We're here in Bangalore to learn how product creators are designing for these next billion users. I sat down with Deepika Kapadia, the Senior Director of Product Management at Ola, to learn how they're mobilizing this mobile-first nation. So tell me, what is Ola? What does Ola do?
So Ola is India's largest ride-sharing company. And I always say that Ola's product is not our apps, our product is the cab ride. It's the way people go from point A to point B. For many people, we are their only, transportation option to get to their workplace, and that's my product. And everything else is a means to an end.
You mentioned about these T2 and T3 towns and you wanting to, build a product that would actually reach them. What are some of the implications of that or the considerations you had to take to make that happen?
T2, T3 means people who live in really small towns in India, right? So a population of 5,000 is not a very large town by Indian standards, right? So these are people who typically have low-end smartphones that cost less than maybe even 5,000 or 6,000 rupees. They're characterized by having low RAM, they're characterized by having low memory. These guys have flaky networks in these towns. So all of that makes it very difficult for them to download and use a native app that can run to about 100 megs on iOS and 60 megs installed on Android. It's sort of taking the best of both worlds and offering it up to Ola's users. If I cannot even get these people a reliable way to access our service on a consistent basis, they're not going to look to our app as the way to get them a ride every day.
The influx of users India is bringing online opens the door to a lot of potential for product creators. But there is still significant barriers to overcome. 33% of smartphone users in India run out of storage every day. And the first thing they do when they need to clear up space is to delete installed apps. Ola asked themselves, how might we design for these next billion users while being mindful of the unique challenges they face? To explore the possibilities, Ola built a progressive web app.
To me, a progressive web app is a bridge between the best of what the web has to offer and a native app experience. The fact that a PWA offers me the SEO benefits that I need for some of my transportation rides, but also gives me a smooth native in-app-like experience.
Making your app feel fast is essential to creating a great progressive web app experience. Using placeholder UI elements with subtle animation creates a higher perceived response time. I asked the lead designer to show me how they achieved this in Ola's app.
We had local indicators, which is shimmer. Let's say you have pickup location and drop location input, but then you need some API calls to fetch the pricing. So in that duration, without blocking the user, we had shimmers so as to get to show that something is loading in this specific particular place. We specifically made sure that we don't use any of the image assets. All of this was written in code so that there's no additional request that is required. In terms of web, we have that leverage that we can push a code fix right away and it will be live to all our audience, right? So we have taken a route where we say that, okay, our mobile web PWA will be a testing ground for our mobile apps also.
The human-centered design process involves testing early and often. The web makes it easy to iterate quickly. I asked Deepika what this new testing ground enabled them to do.
We monitored the sort of conversion funnel, if you will, a few weeks after the launch and found that there were two sort of precipitous drop-off points which we immediately worked with our design team to fix, needing people to use a captcha. Which we didn't realize at that point was very American in its context. So it asked people to click on images that had street signs or, for example, click on images of tuna, which is not, these are not concepts very well known in India. And so we sort of stepped back and realized that we actually were using a hammer when we needed a chisel, if you will. We did not need to show this captcha to all our users. We worked with our security team to kind of come up with business logic so that we were showing it only when it was absolutely needed. And doing that sort of, this 40% drop-off that we saw just cleared itself.
By creating a web experience that is reliable, fast, and engaging, Ola was able to remove a lot of those barriers and re-engage their users. By removing CAPTCHA and the requirement of email, Ola moved to a mobile-first approach, and they actually saw an increase of conversion rate of 30%. Thoughtful considerations like these help you design for mobile-first nations and bring in the next billion users. As product creators, we have a responsibility to create things that are focused on the human experience, things that are centered.